Oh, yeah, so, but when I've gone over to, like, I've stayed in an uncle's house,
Yeah.
they give me food first,
Right.
or they wait for me to eat, but they watch you. They're very concerned if you like what you're eating,
Right.
and if you're full and you've had enough, because they don't tell children usually to stop.
Right.
Right, like, they're big eaters, and it's like part of their thing to eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
And they don't like to, have anyone hungry.
Right.
Good, but I think, I think it just bothers me in the house that I don't want to I can't buy food for my brother-in-laws if they don't also buy food.
Yeah. But yeah. Because they don't buy food, but you buy food and they eat it.
They're not working or helping me clean the house, and they're just sitting there.
Yeah.
But some of their food, like their cooking styles, have changed since the technology they've had.
Right.
And they fry a lot of things in oil.
Did they not used to do that?
No, their traditional way is to cook things in an earth oven.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they're a bit more communal in eating their culture, because
Right.
the earth ovens are larger.
Right.
So
Fire
there's
pits type thing.
so much, but even bigger. So it's like covered in the earth and baked in the earth with lots of food and stuff together. So you have to share that. There's way more than anyone could eat.
Yeah.
And like they'll put a whole pig in there and things like that. And then also traditionally they have ma pits, which is for putting the breadfruit in.
What's that?
It's a really large pit, like you can stand in it.
Yeah.
Deep. And you might be able to go and see one. But it's for the breadfruit. It's for storing it for long periods of time.
Right.
So they used to put the breadfruit in for when they had droughts and they didn't have food.
Right.
So that's like another thing that a community would have to take care of as well, or a family. And they also excuse me. So they also have fermented breadfruit. That's one of their traditional things.
Have you had to eat that?
I have a little bit. It's fine. They pound it together with water and coconut milk.
Right.
And we also take the fermented breadfruit and mix it with fresh pounded breadfruit.
Right.
And mix it with coconut milk. So it's kind of like a starchy paste. But yeah, so they did used to store large amounts, and that's, I think, where the communal part of their culture begins. And children, they do love children a lot in their culture. That's why many of them have lots of children.
Right.
But before missionization, children were very sacred. So sometimes the mother or women cannot go and cut the children's hair.
Oh really?
Yeah, because it brings bad spiritual energy, and they can't touch the children's heads, and they can't step over the children. Now they don't do that. They can go cut their hair and everything. But I think it has something to do with the children is not fully grown, so they're still connected to that other spiritual world.
Right.
Or where the soul comes from or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's some energy in that.
How would you say parenting styles are different over here?
Yeah, a little bit. They're very good with children. I don't have much experience with babies, but they love children, right? So everyone likes to hold your baby and everything. And as young kids and teenagers, they all like to hold the baby as well and take care of it. So that's kind of good. So they do learn how to change the diaper and hold the baby and feed the baby and things like that, which I don't know how to do all that.
Right.
But parenting, I think it depends on the person. They're somewhat, I would say, less disciplined. So sometimes they get really mad and they'll discipline a child, or before they may hit their children for doing something if they're really angry at them. But at the same time, it's not they don't have that consistency type of discipline.
Right.
Right, where if you're always running away, I'm going to take this away from you, or you can have a timeout type of thing.
Right.
They don't usually have that so much. Or sometimes I'll see like the grandmother and the young toddler, like if the toddler's doing something and the grandmother tells her to stop and the toddler doesn't stop. But eventually the grandmother, she gets mad and angry and, says forcefully at the child not to do it. And then the little toddler is crying, but then the toddler goes to like the aunt or someone else who's okay and he's like, oh, okay, what did you do,
Yeah.
type of thing. And like stops him from crying, but then I'm like, did that child learn that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that the right kind of discipline? But I think they're fairly good with children. They buy them the things usually if they have the money for it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like if they'll buy them candy if they have the money for it. And they do feed them a lot.
Yeah, the kids are big.
Yeah, they feed them a lot. But that's also the type of food. Like I'm going in a circle here. They eat lots of rice and lots of salty things because they usually use soy sauce a lot. So now, so the other traditional is in an earth oven, but now also because of the price of propane to run the stove, they boil the meat most of the time, and they boil and they cook everything on high heat, like constantly, so it makes it really chewy and hard. Sometimes I really hate it, or I can't, like it's too hard for me to even chew it, and that's like the worst way to cook meat, actually. Yeah. But they usually, they'll boil it in water and then they'll dump the water out, or most of the water out, and put soy sauce in and put oil in sometimes too with the sauce. So to make sauce, there's adding vegetable oil and soy sauce, which isn't really healthy, and soy sauce adds a lot of salt. But they eat huge amounts of that, and they'll have their meat dish with the soy sauce, rice, and spaghetti at the same time. And when they have spaghetti, they don't all eat spaghetti sauce. They usually just put ketchup, which is not very tasty. So there's that, or they'll just eat plain spaghetti most of the time. But there's a lot of complex carbs and meat, and sometimes also have bread along with their meals.
Yeah.
Or they'll have a really big meal in the afternoon, and then they'll have leftovers of that at dinner time. But in the morning, they don't usually have the best breakfast. They usually eat crackers with tea, or they take the crackers and they put them in the tea.
Right.
And they eat that. So they do have.
And what about all the fishing stuff?
The fishing stuff, yeah, they eat a lot of fish.
And they he's about to go out. So do the men all fish a lot?
Fairly amount, but Fuse told me that now less people fish than before.
Right.
A lot of them, some of them, they don't fish that much, or they're lazy, or they don't know how to fish that much. But fairly often, definitely they like to go out on the weekends, and that helps a lot with what they eat. Because so they go fishing and they bring a lot of fish back to eat.
Right. And
there's different fish. There's tuna and barracuda, or they have smaller fish like snapper.
Right. What would you say the relationship is to foreigners coming in?
Oh, they're very welcoming to outsiders. Yeah, they like outside people and to talk to them, and they bring them in. Tourists on yachts, they welcome them in. They don't see them as polluting or much. And they usually offer stuff to them. Also, because tourists and people from outside, there isn't that many now.
Right.
So it's not there's always someone bombarding their day.
Right.
But they like to talk and they like to drink with people. And the tourists also buy things sometimes.
Right.
So it brings in some money. So they have the cruise ship that comes in with tourists, and they're very welcoming. And there's the artisans that come out with their carvings.
Right.
And necklaces, or they sell flower crowns and things like that.
Yeah. That's cool. Your family.
Heading out. Okay, see you later.
And what else do we say? Can you tell me what traditions have they preserved from their traditional culture?
Well, they dance.
Right.
And they speak their native language. And they do carve, and they do tattoos, which the tattoo, when they're first missionized, it was stopped.
Yeah.
So, there's some of the meanings to the tattoos they don't know anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't know what everything means, fully, so, but they're starting to get into it more and learn things, and they do have tattooing again now.
Do they learn a lot about their history, about French colonization? Well, because is the school run by French government, the curriculum?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't learn that much about colonization.
They learn, but from them, they don't see missionization any part of it as bad.
Really?
Most of them don't. Some of them do a little bit because they understand, they've learned, some of the culture is gone, or that's not exactly what their ancestors' religion was. But they were cannibals before. There was some cannibalism. So, a lot of times, even in the dancing, and when I learned the dancing in the song was about one of the missionaries coming, and because that missionary came, it stopped them from being cannibals.
Right.
So cannibalism is bad, so that must have been good that they were missionized.
Right.
It's kind of view. So there's some things which I can agree, okay, maybe that was good that they didn't need to be cannibals anymore, but I don't think they know fully of the culture change.
Yeah, but cannibalism wasn't that common, was it? It was only in ceremonies.
It could have been more common. It was in ceremonies and in warfare.
Right.
So it could have been more common, but I'm not sure how common it was.
Right.
And it was in between valleys. So what that did is now the whole island is connected instead of warring against each other.
Right.
And they do, they know stuff, but also that's partly because they are religious. So it's kind of hard to teach them,
so they're very
this
Catholic.
is bad.
Yeah.
They're Catholic or they're Protestant, but it's hard to say to someone who's going to church and their parents are religious to say, oh no, that's not right.
Yeah. And they're not learning anything about colonization and disease and that kind of thing.
I'm not sure of everything that they learn.
Right. But it is set by the French government.
It is set by the French government. Their homework, I've seen a little bit of it, it's all French.
Right.
So, sometimes I've had the girl, she's trying to connect the words to different things. And one of it was an oak tree, and they don't have oak trees here.
Oh, right. So she's confused.
She didn't know what is this tree and what does it connect to.
Right.
So I had to explain that. And the teachers, to be a teacher, they have to do 2 years of school in France.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So all the teachers here have done 2 years
Yeah,
of
they've
school
all
in
done
France?
2 years of school in France.
Wow. And they come back?
Mm-hmm.
Have you talked to them about it?
Only a little bit.
That's cool.
But they're dancing, they learn cultural things, and I think there's things that they might not even realize how much of their culture is in some of the dancing in their formations.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have these formations, and the children would be in the center, then the women, then the men.
Right.
Which is kind of and sometimes I have the formations as if they were on a boat, on the double-hulled canoe. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, so some of it, they're sitting and you're rocking side to side like you're on the boat. And the song is about going on the boat and the voyage of the boat. So they do have that.
Merci beaucoup. Oh, merci, merci.
Oh, today.
Oh, c'est bon. Merci beaucoup. Oui,
Oil, moutarde,
oui.
and
C'est-
sugar.
C'est bon.
Yeah.
Merci beaucoup. Oh, that's so nice of him. He just made me loads of food because I'm constipated. Loads of
No,
vegetables.
I'm thinking, I don't know if he knows you can spend it or
Oh,
not.
really?
I
Okay.
didn't tell him, I just said,
So he now knows.
I don't know, I just said you had a bellyache because the
Ah.
food changed.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, there are very few vegetables on the island.
I'm not sure if we should pay him or give him something later for that.
Okay.
But maybe later. We'll
Okay.
pay him something later.
Okay. Do you have the money I gave you?
Mm.
Okay. Do you have any money? Because I can always give you more.
No,
Okay.
but I can tell him. I can give him. We can give him some later.
Okay. Thanks. Cool. If you're gonna tell your friends what life is like on the island, what did you say? Like, we have a friend from California who's like, "What on earth are you doing now?"
It's a lot more relaxed and things happen a lot slower. Right, so most of the time they don't worry too much, about exactly what time it is. But like if the cargo ship arrives, it's time to go to work. They get up and they go.
Right.
Right? There's no being lazy and sitting around. But
What do
sometimes
you mean? What happens when the cargo ship comes in?
Okay, so they've been preparing, so most of them have been like chopping coconut or collecting fruit, and they have things to put on the boat and they have things to buy from the boat,
Right.
like gasoline. Or they send things to Bora Bora, to Tahiti, because they have family there, or someone, like a cousin, someone's buying it. So they send things by freight.
Right.
So when the boat arrives, it has the horn, right? It signifies, okay, we're here. So that kind of tells everyone, get your
Everyone
things.
mobilizes.
Yeah. Everyone, okay, you get up, you get your coconuts your bags that you've prepared, and you go down and prepare to put them on the boat.
And do they know when the boat's coming?
Yeah, it comes every 3 weeks, and usually someone on the boat calls them and like notifies
Oh, right.
exactly the date.
Cool, because Barry was saying before, nobody knew when it was. And so if you wanted to leave the island, you had to like pack all your bags up in like an hour and go. So, what would you say the main economy here is?
Coconut.
C'est très bon.
Ça, tu peux mettre dessus.
Qu'est-ce que
Hein?
c'est?
C'est quoi ça?
C'est le riz. Tu vois pas c'est quoi?
C'est comment dit-on en français?
Je sais pas.
Chan...
Ouais,
Un légume?
Chandelin?
Fruit.
Un légume?
fruit. Fruit.
Fruit?
Cooking.
Ouais.
Good, good.
I'm pretty sure it's mushroom.
Oh, mushroom. Chantel.
Ouais, mais... Ailleurs. Ça, tu peux mettre dessus.
C'est végétarien?
Oui.
Oui, oui.
Tu peux mettre dessus. Ah. C'est comme le noisette.
Champion?
Châtain.
Ah.
Châtaigne.
Champagne?
C'est non fromage.
Non.
Non.
Non, non, non.
Légume.
Oui. Fruit.
Tastes like fromage.
Oui, c'est this fruit.
Oh, chestnut. Is
This.
it chestnut?
Yes.
Ah,
Cooking.
merci beaucoup.
Comment on écrit le champignon?
Châtain.
It's chestnut.
Champagne.
It's chestnut. It's cheese and chestnut.
Oh, it is a chestnut. Champagne.
Voilà, voilà.
Oh. C'est pas bon ça. Mon demi. No good.
C'est
C'est
pas
le-
froid.
Un peu.
Yeah.
Mm.
So the main economy.
I didn't know that. I'm pretty sure it's exporting coconut, which is made into coconut oil.
What do they? What? So it's all made into coconut oil.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the factories?
In Tahiti.
Right. And that seems to be like. There's not a big. Everyone does it themselves, like in their cars. Like,
Mhm.
it's not like there's a factory or anything. It's like very like. Each household
Yeah.
produces their own
It's
stuff.
definitely each household kind of the person. So And they do export noni as well. And they export fruit. So they have the pamplemousse, the pomelo.
Yeah.
They have orange. Sometimes they have limes, lots of limes. And what else do they export? Mangoes.
Mangoes. Cool. And the education, this kids go to boarding school.
Yeah, so they go to school here until they're, I think it's like 12 years old, and then they go to Atsuona, Nukuhiva, or Tahiti.
Bon appetit.
Merci.
Wow.
Trop mec. Vou manger.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And have you talked to any?
hold on.